Singer-songwriter Johnny Indovina from The Models and Human Drama. Johnny, Human Drama, you had a lot of sad songs. What was the saddest song you ever wrote?
February 10th, off of the Blurred Images album.
Does it make you cry?
It gives me goosebumps.
We'll talk about songs that give them goosebumps and make them sweaty this week on Let's Talk.
We're local and enlightening. You're watching WLAE-TV, celebrating 40 years of New Orleans public television.
Inside New Orleans Sports with Eric Asher is underwritten by...
At Villeries Florist, we deliver the magic of flowers 7 days a week to the North Shore and South Shore in the New Orleans area. Whether it's for birthday parties, baby celebrations, Villeries provides colorful floral displays for all. With a store full of fresh-cut flowers, exotic tropical flowers, orchids, roses, and even fruit baskets, our goal is to make your vision a reality. Villeries Florist, proudly serving Louisiana since 1969.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
C&C Drugs is a family-owned pharmacy that's been serving Southeast Louisiana for over 50 years. Whether you need help taking care of an elderly family member, a growing child, or even a pet, C&C provides patient-centered care for your entire family. C&C Drugs, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Locations in Mandeville and Araby.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Over the next hour, we will cover all the home teams: Saints, LSU, Tulane, Pelicans. Breaking it down for us, one of my favorite guests. He's on my radio show every Monday at 4:30. Does an incredible job with his podcast, and we love having him on the TV show as well. Jim Derry, The Attitude Podcast, is our guest. Jim, welcome back, bud.
Always a pleasure.
Welcome back. Not like we haven't talked in a while.
Well, usually I'm used to being crammed in here with somebody else next to me, unless it's little skinny Garland Gillen. But today it's
just you and I.
Just you and me.
Just you and I. And again, of course, you tell us about the podcast. I know you're taking a little bit of a hiatus for the Mardi Gras.
Yeah, not a long one.
Right.
Not as long as I usually take.
Right.
It's a little different when you're independent. You can't take as long as you normally would take. But yeah, we're gonna. The season 5 finale of the Datitude podcast will be Monday, February the 9th, the 8th, the 9th, whatever day it is, whatever day Monday is, day after the Super Bowl. We will recap the Super Bowl, and then we're going to take about a week and a half off. We'll come back. Season 6 will start on Friday, February the 20th. So we're going to take about a 10-day break. But normally we're on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube. It's Datitude, Attitude with a D in front of it. And easy to find, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about a little bit about everything, like you do. We probably 60% Saints, and we also talk about the NFL. We talk about LSU. Obviously, we spend a lot of time talking about LSU, and I try to talk Pelicans, but it's tough sometimes.
I'm the only one in the city talking.
It
Pelicans.
is tough sometimes.
It's hard being on that island.
It really. I mean, look. My regulars, they want to talk about it, so we do usually spend some time, but not nearly as much as we spent the last couple of years, and it's depressing.
I got buddies.
I'm sure we'll get into it today.
We got to talk about it. I got buddies today, but they've told me again, man, why are you talking Pelicans? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Well, there
are people who care.
They're our NBA team, and we have to talk about them at the end of the day. And again, if you're not talking about them, at some point, again, there's no pressure to get better. So
there are people who care out there. They're just not maybe as many as they used to be.
So Mardi Gras guy, right? Again,
Big Mardi Gras guy.
Love Mardi Gras guy. Riding in
the Crew of Endymion. Yep. Saturday, Valentine's Day, February the 14th.
Yes.
Looking forward to it as I have for many years. My wife and I got married on a float in the crew of Morpheus 20 years ago.
Wow.
That's right,
No
20
kidding.
years ago. Oh, no, 18 years ago. I'm sorry, we've been together for 20 years. I lose track of time. But 18 years ago, we got married on a float, and we rode together for many years. And then about almost 10 years ago, I got back in Endymion. I was in Endymion as a kid. So, yeah, it's been a fun ride, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year, and I'm looking forward to it. All the people at Delgado who treat us fantastic, Joe Sherman and company, that's where we kind of form, and I enjoy it. I always get to say hello to he and Tyler, and fun times.
No doubt. I was a member of Endymion for a decade before Katrina, and it is an incredible opportunity just to enjoy Mardi Gras from an Endymion float, and then of course nothing like going into that dome.
Nothing like it.
I'm on that float. It is. If you've never had an opportunity and you get an opportunity to ride in Endymion or one of the super crews, take advantage of it.
There are almost as many people, Eric, on the streets going to Endymion and hollering for me as there are that watch our shows. Almost, not
just
quite.
a few million. That's all. Just a few million. Almost.
Something like that.
All right, let's get started with the New Orleans Saints. Again, a lot of optimism coming out of this season. Give me your overall thoughts on what you saw this year.
Well, I mean, I saw a 6-11 football team.
Okay, all right.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's what we saw. So
Okay.
I'm not trying to look, Saints fans should be excited, okay? Eric, where we are right now, compared to where Saints fans and this team was last year at the same exact time, you go back and, we were doing Super Bowl and we got to do Radio Row, and it was one of the experiences of my life. But the Saints still didn't have a coach yet at this time last year. They were still in limbo. You didn't know who the quarterback was. There was no reason to think that this past year was going to be really any better than 2024. And it was in the grand scheme. It was better because of the way that it ended. But for the first half of the season, it didn't look like it was going to be better. Sure. So, look, I take nothing away from the last half of the season, and Saints fans should be excited about Tyler Shuck. But remember, he's gotten all the honeymoon period is going to be over in a hurry. So he needs to make sure he continues it. He's going to go into next season with a lot tougher schedule next year. Hopefully he'll have some more help. Hopefully they'll help him at all the skill positions. Need a running back, at least one. You need at least one guard. That's obviously not a skill position, but you need at least one more really good receiver. And that's just on the offensive side. So there's reason for optimism, but I'm not ready to dive into the ocean of happy and think this team is going to suddenly be a 10-7 kind of football team and win the NFC South. They could,
right?
But I think the odds are probably against that.
Well,
so let's temper enthusiasm, I guess.
I will say you can temper enthusiasm, but I'm not going to try to throw water on the last half of the season. Except to say to be a realist here.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, and again, being a realist is that we looked at the schedule, and you looked at the teams on the schedule. And look, teams always go from worst to first. Look at the New England Patriots. Okay, we know we've seen this all over and over again in the NFL. But at the end of the day, the back end of the schedule was much easier than the front end of the schedule.
Sure.
And the expectations were, again, they would win games on the back end of the schedule. Now, again, we had no idea Tyler Shuck would come in and play as well as he did, which was a real find for this team and gives you some. That's a lot of, I believe, the optimism. The people who are realists who look at the teams they played, they say, okay, they played some bad teams, but the Saints were a bad team. But at the end of the day, they feel like, again, the skill set of the quarterback that we saw in the last 9 games gives you hope that, again, that you've got a quarterback, and if you've solved that issue, you've solved a major issue for your team.
Yeah, and I will say this. Look, I was not high on Tyler Shuck when they drafted him. I thought they drafted him. I still think they drafted him too high. Even though I think he absolutely has potential to be the future of this franchise and play here for 10 or 12 years and be a real legitimate kind of starter. And he has some talents that most other NFL quarterbacks don't really have when you talk about all the combination of things. But that being said, he went way over what I expected him to do. And he showed me a skill set that I didn't really know that he had. Like I said, being able to run as well as he could run, being able to think on the run, his mobility, his ability to get out of the pocket and still throw.
Right.
Which, look, his IQ for the game, I think, is a lot higher than I was led to believe before the draft, like going into the draft. And now you look at redrafts, a lot of people have him as the second pick of the draft.
Right.
If you go look right behind Cam Ward. I actually would rather have Tyler Shuck than Cam Ward, I think. And when I look at them, I think Cam Ward's going to be a starter in this league for a while as well. But look, so that part of it, I'm absolutely encouraged. I need to make sure, well, not make sure isn't the right word. I need to see that this organization is going to build off of a couple of pretty good drafts.
Right.
When's the last time they've had 3 good drafts in a row? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know.
It's been a long time.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
Maybe it hasn't, but I will tell you this: for them to continue the success, because despite what some people say out there, this team is 26th in cap space. I know it's been reported by some well-known people who cover this team that they are okay money-wise and they can basically just go do whatever they want. The fact is that they can't.
No, they can't.
They are not in that position. They still need some things to fix. Now, yeah, they can go sign more free agents than they have in the recent past, but they are going to have to continue to do this through the draft. And again, they've had 2 really good drafts in a row. I think they need to go out in free agency and find themselves whatever guard they think is the best guard. Identify the best 2 guards in free agency, and there are quite a few this year.
Yes.
Get one of those 2, and then go from there and see what's left over. But you go in the draft, and hopefully they're eyeing one of the top skill players in the draft, and you got Tyler Shuck on his rookie deal. Hopefully you could get someone like a Jeremiah Love and get him on a rookie deal, and build and get a guard in free agency. Maybe get a wide receiver in free agency or at the top end of the draft as well. And you build a cornerstone, and you give Shuck what he needs, and then you play off of Chase Young in the defense, and hopefully you can get some of the guys to come back. And I think this team can be good next year, but I really eye the next couple of years. 2 years from now, when they're in great salary cap shape, which is why I don't want to push them. Don't charge the credit card too much.
Right.
I think 2 years from now they could be really good and get back to similar to where they were, just maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, a couple points. First of all, right now, $6 million over the cap, and that's the best they've been, again, in maybe well over
That's
a decade.
an optimistic number.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, based on, again, what we know the NFL is going to have now. Again, they still have to work out deals with Jordan and Davis and Kamara. If they don't work out the deals with Davis, I mean, you're talking about, again, $46.81 million in dead money. So again, that has to happen for them to create cap room. That's where the cap room is going to be created there. Now, the question is, it looks like again that maybe Jordan might be willing to come back. Davis is either posturing or again going to be looking for an opportunity elsewhere to maybe hook up with a winner to try to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Again, that's $14.33 million in dead money that you're going to have to eat there. Now, the problem with it is, as we've mentioned many times in this program, the radio show, is again you're dealing with the Ramshack retirement cap hit and also the Carr retirement cap hit this year. You really can't afford to take on another big cap hit, but you will do that with Taysom Hill, who's got $13.72 million in dead money. Now you can again do that as a post-June 1st retirement, spread it over 2 seasons. You'll be helped there, but they can't take on again all 3 of these guys walking away. That's got to be what their plan is, to be able to once again kick the can down the road for at least another season, right? And then at that point create some cap room. To your point, I agree 100% that, to me, that free agency is going to be the tail of the tape on how good this team can be next year. You've got to get better on the offensive line. And to your point, go get a guard. I say go get 2 veteran guards, okay?
I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't either. I don't either, but I think they have to. Again, I don't know how you can.
I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Okay, I don't know how you can have faith in Cesar Ruiz going forward.
Because, look, I'm not going to defend Cesar Ruiz, but I will say this. I think that if you go out and get Edwards or whoever you think the top guard is, and you go get that, I think that if Cesar Ruiz is your weak link, I don't know if cover up is the right word.
Yeah, no, it is.
But I think that it's probably easier to do that than if You know.
Yeah, but you really need to look at it this way, in my opinion, Jim. Again, that whole middle of the offensive line has to be retooled. McCoy is officially injury prone, okay?
Yeah.
And so you have to get someone that can see. People say Fortner. Well, Fortner was he was a nice fill-in. You got to get either that's going to be a young player or a player that can come in and play center or center guard for you. To me, Ruiz is a guy that's a backup in the NFL, even though he's not getting paid like it. Of course, you need another starting guard on the opposite side. So if you're looking at that offensive line with two young tackles, you have to be able to get the interior of that offensive line up to NFL standards. And right now, it's not.
They know that. A lot of times you say, well, they need to do such and such, and then they don't, and then you're like, how can they ignore that?
Right.
Whatever. I just don't. Everything that I've seen in the past couple of years, I think they realize that they have to shore up the interior of their line. However, I just don't think that the money that they're spending with Ruiz right now, which I think is somewhere in the neighborhood of, 12, 13 million, somewhere along those lines. I mean, you're spending that kind of money on Ruiz that they just redid his contract with 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right.
They're not going to go out and. I just don't think they're going to address that spot right now. You're not going to put that on the bench and have him be a backup, basically backup center, backup guard, which is what he would become.
Right.
For that price, not right now, because you're not talking about a team that can, realistically challenge for a Super Bowl. I mean, let's be realistic. But again, you're talking about some of these other numbers, and look, I just don't feel confident about it. The more we go along here with Demario Davis, and again, I'm not saying he should have done something by now. I just get this feeling, call it gut feeling, call it some rumors that I've heard from friends in the know have told me that that he's not even living around here anymore.
Right.
That he's already taken off back to Mississippi,
right.
And I just don't feel confident about Demario Davis.
I don't either now.
And so when you talk about Demario Davis and Taysom Hill. And even Alvin Kamara to some extent, to quote Weird Al's parody of Michael Jackson, you just got to eat it.
Right.
Because I think, and that's, again, another reason why I don't want this team to kick the can down the road. Because, look, you just eat some of these you just eat them. You just move on, you eat them, and a year or two from now, you're in fantastic spot.
You are. You're out
you
of
don't
cap
have to use a credit card because you got room on your debit card. And that's what I'm kind of talking about here. And look, this is not a team to me. You're just getting out of a funk that you've been in, and you have a chance now to start to rebuild without kicking a can per se. And again, I get that some of the people out there who have been studying this for years and they know everything about what there is to know. I get where they're coming from, but I just don't feel the same way. And I think this team needs to be prudent, and in 2 years, go hog wild and have a chance to get back.
But what are the odds of that, knowing this organization?
I actually don't think they're going to kick. Now they are probably going to restructure some of these things.
They're going to try to bring Jordan back. They're going to try to bring Davis back.
I don't think they're going to go hog wild in free agency.
Right.
Okay, I definitely think they're going to sign a guard. I think they're probably going to go out and sign some skill player some kind of way that probably costs more than they should, and they're going to go get a couple guys on defense, maybe a cornerback or whatever. But I actually think that they're not going to go hog wild. I think maybe more than they should, in my opinion. But I don't think they're going to do what some people want them to do. And I think Mickey's learned he learned a tough lesson. You just think about where this team was even 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, and to be able to dig out of it as fast as they did, I give kudos. I give them props for being able to dig out of it as fast as they have. But you can't go back to that. You have to learn your lesson.
Well,
they did.
the hole gets bigger. Let's say again they don't sign Demario Davis again, or are you comfortable with Stutzman as being your middle linebacker to start next year? Okay, so then you have to go probably get a veteran linebacker. Alontae Taylor, there's a good chance Alontae Taylor's not going to be here. He's going to command a salary that the Saints are not going to be able to afford. You're going to have to find another player that can play that star position. Okay, that's on top of what we just talked about.
Right.
We just the guards, right?
So they're going to have to spend some money.
They have to. They don't have a choice.
But that's what I'm saying, though. You can't go overboard and like all these pie-in-the-sky dreams that I see from people on social media. Well, just go do this. Just go do that.
Right.
Just go sign a running back. Just go sign. You can sign Alec Pierce and Breece Hall. No, you can't. Because it's not realistic.
Right.
When you're still 26th in salary cap.
Right.
Now, 2 years from now, if everything stays the same or close to the same, the Saints are projected to be second in salary cap 2 years from now.
Right.
So why would you see? I have a credit card balance of pretty close to zero. Not to give anyone, I guess, I'm not giving financial advice or anything, but I'm not a kick the can down the road kind of guy. I don't want to take out loans.
But they
that I
are.
don't necessarily have. They have been in the past, and I used to be too.
Right.
I think that, but I learned a hard lesson. I am hoping that Mickey Loomis at 70 years old or whatever he is has learned a hard lesson that if he wants to be part of a real rebuild, that he's not going to go out and put this team in peril.
Jim,
again
I think again, that what you're saying is probably more realistic after next season than it is this season. Okay, and because again, you have the dead money that's wrapped up in Hill, who's probably retiring, Davis, who's probably going to end up elsewhere, and then Jordan, who's going to want a decent deal, but looks like he wants to. The reason why he's coming back is he wants to finish his career as a Saint. And oh, by the way, you've got to restructure Alvin Kamara's contract here. Okay,
I don't think so.
So I mean, at the end of the day, those are the things that
I'm going to tell you what
that's
I would
what
do.
I'm telling. And then let's face it. In free agency, in my opinion, you gotta upgrade the trenches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
That's number one.
And then in the draft, to me, you've got to surround Tyler Shuck with weapons. I mean, that's the way I think that they have to approach this.
But you can't fix this team in one offseason.
No, there's no doubt about that. I agree with that.
You know, so I think they can do half of what they need to do this year, and then maybe you're good enough to look. If you do half, this team, I think, can be good enough to compete and maybe be 9-8, which is probably, again, is good enough to win this division again next year. There's no reason to think they can't. Look, I think you follow the Patriots blueprint. The Patriots got much better. They have a quarterback. Their defense was better than their offense because they have a defensive-minded coach. I think the Saints can be much better on offense because they have a young, budding genius as a coach. And I think that so you can get better offensively with just a few players and compete for the division, but to get where you want to get, you can't try to do it all at one time. You just can't. It's not logistically feasible.
Well, again, I will say that you look at the Patriots, what they were able to do. Yes, they had a decent draft, but again, they went out and had a lot of money and spent a boatload of money on free agency.
Right.
So they were able to go from worst to first because they had the cap room. They went out and again with a new coach and I guess again a new system, but also again a new voice in that locker room. They were able to go in and to be able to turn that into a Super Bowl appearance.
So wouldn't you like to have a boatload of money 2 years from now?
I'd love to have
kind
a
of
boatload of money.
what they're doing,
but
put yourself in that
again,
position.
it's just like what we're going to talk about later on with the Pelicans. The Saints front office looks at box office and corporate sponsorships, and again, and those are the things that. So again, they don't want to see the dome filled with opposing teams' fans.
If you got a 9-8 team, you won't see the dome filled.
Agreed.
9-8 team is good enough to get this fan base excited.
9-8 teams might be good enough to win the NFC South.
But not just that, Eric. I think that 9-8 is good enough to have this fan base excited and fired up like they are right now.
Right.
If you keep this momentum and keep this fan base like they are right now, I think that's enough to get them through, and you don't have to worry about it. It can be back like it was in the old days in the dome, I think.
All right, let's shift gears for a moment. Let's talk about again tonight, NFL Honors. Of course, we're recording this program this afternoon. Everybody believes Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Everyone believes that Jari Evans will not get in this year. It is a toss-up on whether Tyler Shuck will win Rookie of the Year.
That's not a toss-up.
He won the Pepsi Rookie of the Year, which is the fan vote today. Give me your thoughts. Again,
I think
what
Tyler
happens
Shuck
tonight?
has almost no chance.
No chance of Rookie of the Year?
It's going to be Ted McMillan.
9 games not enough.
No, it's going to be Ted McMillan.
Okay.
I mean, and you know me, I judge by what Las Vegas tells me.
No, right.
And Las Vegas has basically told us all that Ted McMillan is going to be the NFL Rookie of the Year. And just like when they give out MVP, and you might see the AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year is Lamar Jackson, and then Josh Allen wins the MVP, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Because if the Offensive Player of the Year isn't the MVP, that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's how they do these things. They kind of, give you your participation trophy thing. So you see, and Jackson Dart won some kind of Rookie of the Year award today as well. I don't even know what it is. All these meaningless, let me give more sponsorship, whatever awards of the year, which is what happens during Super Bowl week. We see it all the time. But that doesn't take anything away from what Tyler Shuck has done.
No, absolutely not.
I actually I mean, I get why they would vote for Ted Ortman. I probably, and again, I'm a little biased, but I probably, and I'm really a little biased, I would probably voted for Shuck, but I understand why people would vote for Ted Ortman. To me, it's one of those two guys. Right. But as far as Drew Brees goes, that is the no-brainer of no-brainers. I mean, I guess, but what you've seen with Bill Belichick and, Kraft not making the Hall of Fame with their opportunities here, you'd think those were no-brainers, but I don't think there's the level of contempt for Drew Brees that there is for Belichick.
Is it contempt, or is it a fact that, again, the voters said, and this is my opinion, okay, and I've heard a lot of people kind of echo that opinion over the last week or so. Again, they got caught cheating multiple times. Okay, Deflategate. Again, you look at again the Spygate, and of course nobody can dispute the reign of the Patriots in the NFL and all the Super Bowl championships. But at the end of the day, maybe again some of those voters said that you're getting a slap on the hand because ultimately you were caught cheating twice. Do you think that had anything to do with it? I believe it did.
Do I think that had anything to do with it? I think that a lot of these voters have egos the size of this studio, and
it's a huge studio.
It is a pretty big studio. Okay. They have egos the size of Sean Payton's ego.
That's a huge ego.
Pretty big ego, and so they think if they could put their stamp on something, it's ridiculous. I mean, to answer your question, yes, they could have.
You're a voter. You're voting them both in first ballot?
150%.
And I am not.
It's absurd.
And I am not.
Well, okay, you want to go back to Deflategate and Spygate. Right. That was before they finished with all that. They got their punishment handed down, and what did they do the next year? They went 16-0. I mean, they didn't win the Super Bowl.
I get it.
They went
16-0. Again, does it matter? You cheated. You cheated. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, and again, you're in a league where, again, I get it. Everybody's trying to get an edge here or there, but again, when you are caught cheating, there has to be some type of consequences for that.
There were,
and yes, but then again, there are also consequences for your career as well. Now, again, do I think that Tom Brady's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of those things? Probably not. I just think again
which is hypocritical.
To a point.
No, not to a point. He was all part of this. The Deflategate supposedly helped him.
But then some people believe that again he will not be. But again, if I was a voter, I would not have let him. I would not have voted him in first ballot.
Here's what it comes down to. Okay, and I'll liken this to baseball. There is 0.0 question that the greatest player in baseball in my lifetime is Barry Bonds. It's not even close. There is no argument. There's no debate. But he cheated. Kiss my patoot. Okay, you go by and look at the numbers, and you take away even his home runs. You give him a third of the home runs that he hit. He's still the greatest player in my lifetime, defensively, offensively, whatever measure you want to use. And there are people saying he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. It's absurd. Who's the greatest coach of my lifetime?
Belichick.
Bill Belichick, hands down, is the greatest coach in NFL history? I don't know. I mean, you can look at it a bunch of different ways. But there's no question that in my lifetime, I mean, I guess you could consider a guy like Don Shula, who I grew up with, and maybe a Tom Landry, one of those guys, even a Bill Walsh who didn't do it for as long a period of time. You could put those guys.
But the records show that he's the best.
Bill Belichick is the greatest. So I don't care if you don't think that every player is going to do anything that he can do to his advantage. He got caught. Big whoop.
Got caught.
I mean, you know why he got caught? He got caught because his ego is also bigger than this studio as well. So anyway you look at it, it doesn't matter. I guess coming back to Drew Brees, clean. There's nothing you can say about Drew Brees. I don't think anybody's going to hold
Captain America. Are you kidding me?
I think there's a 98.9% chance that Drew Brees is elected to the Hall of Fame. And again, as well he should be. I agree with you about Jari Evans, although I think Jari Evans, this is his fourth attempt now to get in. You look at what some of those Saints offenses did, and he absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Maybe he'll get in one day.
He will.
But Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald are going to get in the Hall of Fame, and that starts to limit other spots.
Well, and again, what would have been nice is, again, to see those two guys going in together. And I thought that maybe there might be a little piggyback effect here with Brees going in. Obviously, that did not happen. I want to shift the gears to the Super Bowl. Your thoughts, what will happen on Sunday?
Oh, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. Apparently, I don't think there was any cheating with the Patriots this time, from what I understand.
We don't know. It could happen. Cheat once, cheat twice.
Why not? I mean, I got to be honest. I don't personally have a problem. If you can find a way in this day and age,
Jim, stop.
Look, what's
so if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
What's cheating and what's not? Banging a trash can is. I hate the Astros. I mean, is that cheating? I don't know. They banged a trash can. That's a whole different story.
I think stealing the signs is a little bit more.
I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I think both of these defenses are very good. I have kind of crushed Sam Darnold throughout my recent passes as a show host, but I got to give him credit. He has done everything. He did not choke like he did in Minnesota. He probably had better weapons overall in Minnesota, and sure, he's got one of the best receivers in the game, but he had today with him in Seattle, but he had one of the best receivers in the game with him in Minnesota. So what he's been able to do in Seattle, Sam Darnold, has been nothing short of, I'm not going to say miraculous, but nothing short of spectacular.
Okay.
And Drake May's transformation from his rookie year to now. So I'm looking at two really good quarterbacks playing at the height of their game right now, and two of the best defenses in the NFL going against one another. I expect a low-scoring kind of close game that's not decided until the final few minutes. And I just hope that if Seattle is at the 1-yard line and it's 3rd and goal with 20 seconds left, that they hand the ball off to Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
So, but I think Seattle wins.
Don't let history repeat itself, right?
I think Seattle wins a close game. I think New England covers the 4.5 points or 5 point spread, depending on where you look. But I think that Seattle wins the game.
I think Darnold's a great story, but I think, again, midnight strikes on Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, I hope
you're right.
Okay, I don't have a lot of faith when the pressure's going to be on. This guy's going to be able to play like he has played all season. May has struggled during the playoffs, which again you expect with a young player. He will be aided by his ability to run. Okay,
but he's also turned the ball over in the playoffs, which concerns me.
Yes.
So he played much better in the champion. Turnovers were only covered up by C.J. Stroud's turnovers. Right. And if they lose that game, that's what they would have been talking about. So Darnold's been much better at being careful with the football.
And a veteran, so you would expect that.
Yeah.
On the flip side, again, I think that they both have to run the ball, and I think that Seattle has the edge there. And I think this is going to be one of those Super Bowls we haven't seen in a while, where it's going to be a defensive game. I think what it comes down to again is who makes the most mistakes and what defense takes advantage of it.
I think that look, when it comes down to it, if New England's going to win, and as good as McDonald has been, what is this, only his 3rd year as coach, 2nd or 3rd year as coach? Either way, as good as a defensive mind is, and how much he's transformed that team, to me, with Vrabel is a top 3 or 4 current coach in the NFL, and obviously I was rooting for the Saints to get Mike Vrabel. It was never going to really, it was never really going to happen. Right. But to me, I think Vrabel has a little bit of the coaching edge. And although I think Seattle's a better team, if New England is going to win the game, it's going to be because of Mike Vrabel.
You're watching Inside New Orleans Sports. Jim Derry, the Attitude Podcast, is our guest. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Here from our underwriters. We'll be right back. We'll get an LSU, Tulane, and Pelicans. Stay tuned for more Inside New Orleans Sports.
Located at 3701 Iberville Street in Mid-City is Katie's Restaurant and Bar. Open 7 days a week, Katie's offers daily specials for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Serving New Orleans cuisine such as fried shrimp platters, grilled redfish, and a fully stocked bar. And don't forget about our expanded event seating and local entertainment. Featured on the Best of Food Network's diners, drive-ins, and dives, Katie's Restaurant and Bar.
Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration has been family-owned and operated since 1989. Burkhart has energy-efficient solutions and offers brands such as Mitsubishi ductless AC units and Amana, the only manufacturer with a lifetime unit replacement warranty. Burkhart's offers maintenance bundle packages that include servicing your AC, generator, and tankless water heater. For more information on the services Burkhart's provides, visit acpromise.com. Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration, providing comfort for life.
Welcome back to Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Jim Derry of the Attitude Podcast, our guest. All right, Jim, let's talk LSU. Lane Kiffin met the media yesterday. Yesterday was National Signing Day. Okay? I mean, I've been doing this for almost 24 years now, and National Signing Day used to be, again, you stopped. Everybody was looking to see what was going on with the Bayou Bash up at LSU. Tulane had their little thing. And of course, everybody was worried about the high school recruits. Now, again, as Lane Kiffin said yesterday, it's kind of a combination now with college free agency through the transfer portal, and of course the National Signing Day. With the early signing period now, a lot of these guys are already signed, sealed, and delivered. With that said, Lane Kiffin has put together an incredible class coming into LSU for his first season. Between, again, the signing class and also the portal class. Your thoughts on again, what Kiffin has done in such a short period of time with, again, half of his coaching staff at Ole Miss when all this recruiting was going on?
First, before I get to Lane Kiffin, it's funny that you talk about that because I've spent probably close to half of my career covering high schools.
That's right.
The most dreaded day of the year, without question, for most prep reporters, is National Signing Day. I mean, it's just not something you look forward to, right. Because you're trying to get to everybody. You don't want to miss anybody. You're going here, you're going there. Then you got to come back, write about it, keep everybody up to date. It's just not a day you look forward to. And it's kind of like when you're shooting the New Year's Eve fireworks and you get to that Roman candle and you're shaking it and nothing really comes out.
Yes.
And then you get a little poof. That's kind of what National Signing Day is. The transfer portal is kind of ruined.
Yes.
National Signing Day. It's almost like you don't even. Of course, you want to get the top recruits and the absolute big name 4 and 5 star studs are probably going to start. But when you're in LSU, does it matter as much? I know the transfer portal has become a much bigger deal than National Signing Day. And now that I'm not in, now that I don't cover prep nearly as much, I do a little bit on the side and do some play-by-play. It's not nearly the same, but it's definitely taken the luster. And I didn't pay hardly any attention to it because it really, again, especially for big schools like LSU, the transfer portal and 41 or 42 or whatever signings, however many signings they have, 10 offensive linemen, 9 or 10 wide receivers. I mean, LSU, their starting lineup next year of the 22 players are going to start, I would imagine probably 16 or 18 of them are going to come from this portal class. Yeah. So, I mean, just National Signing Day is just not that big of a deal as it used to be.
Well, and of course, look, Lane Kiffin talked about it. Because of, and we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Because of, the coaching change, this may be a little bit of an anomaly. Because you've had such a turnover on the roster, so many kids getting into the portal because maybe again they were told by the Kiffin coaching staff that again you're not going to work out here and what we're looking at, or again maybe they felt like there was an opportunity to go elsewhere and make more money.
Yeah.
But now you're going to have a huge turmoil. We've seen it at Tulane a lot with Summerall. We saw it again with Willie Fritz as well to a degree, but really more with Summerall, the turnover of the roster. Now, Kiffin said it yesterday in his press conference. It's great to have all these players, have all the accolades for how great the class is. Now comes time to be able to get them to playing as a team. And that is going to be the challenge for this coaching staff going forward with the turnover in this roster, get them all on the same page and to be able to get them ready to play against Clemson when they open up. Now, the good news is he's done this every year at Ole Miss. I did the numbers on the radio show. Again, somewhere around 40 to 50% of his roster flipped over every single year, and every year that team got better.
Yeah, record-wise they got better.
Yes.
I would argue that actually the Ole Miss team of 2024 was better than the one that they put together this year, and they just choked and didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So, look, here's my biggest problem when you rely so much on the portal. Whether it'll work or not, on paper, and here's the paper right here. Right. On paper, this is a ridiculously fantastic. There's no question. This is the greatest. Now,
look how many pages.
Granted, the portal it just began to become about, but this is no question the greatest portal class that there has ever been. But I think I've told you this before. My biggest thing is, if you just take the Saints, for example, was their 2009 team the best team of? No.
No.
I don't think that. I think you and I would sit here and agree. I think 2011 and 2013 were probably a little bit better teams than the 2009
I would agree with
team.
that.
And to me, that 2009 team, what it did was from 2006, and even though they had rough years in 07 and 08, what they did was they built togetherness and they built chemistry.
Right.
And this team, Sam Levitt doesn't know any of these players.
No. Right.
I mean, and Sam Levitt doesn't know Lane Kiffin.
Right.
And Sam Levitt doesn't know his coaches. Now, he will by the time the start of the season. But to me, what is the biggest thing and what is the most important thing? You know, you look at Indiana, Mendoza had been there. That was the second year there. And you look at, I think his offensive line had pretty much been intact from the year before as well. Again, I'm not saying you can't win a championship in college football with a fantastic Porter class, because I think you can. But to me, one of the most important things is chemistry and togetherness. And I just don't know if you can get all that. Even Joe Burrow, when he came here, Joe Burrow, his first year at LSU was nothing like Joe Burrow.
No, agreed.
And that second year, and over the course of that time here, and with Coach O and Joe Brady and everybody else and his fantastic receivers, they all developed. They were all together again in 2019, in the 2019 season. So that's why you worry now about the one and dones. And to me, there's a lot of one and dones on this.
Right?
Yeah, no, right.
They're coming in. They're trying to build to get as many, again, like an arms race.
Right.
As much ammunition as they can.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
and they're going to flow through that ammunition, pick through that ammunition, and see what they're going to be
And
able
if
to
you're
use on
Lane
game
Kiffin,
day.
you can't do anything different. This is, look, the hand that he was dealt.
Right.
I mean, LSU needed to be rebuilt from the ground.
Agreed.
They needed to rip up from the studs up. And you can't afford, if you're Lane Kiffin and you're getting this kind of money, in his defense, and I haven't defended him a whole lot throughout his career, but in his defense here, he had no other option. There were just not a lot of players on this roster that were going to stay who were capable of bringing this LSU team to the playoffs, which is the only thing that's acceptable at LSU. This is a potential, I think, a really good chance to be in the playoffs. I don't think it's a national championship kind of team. I hope I'm wrong, but hey, we'll see what they have, and hopefully this at least builds a foundation, and Lane Kiffin doesn't have to go in the portal as much going forward.
2 points. First of all, again, there's a blueprint for success on this. He's had it at Ole Miss. He understands how to do this because of the turnover on the transfer portal. And of course, again, all you have to do is look again at what Summerall did at Tulane. One of the things Summerall did was, again, he went out of his way to make sure that these players got to know each other. Again, team building exercises, getting them out. Again, so again, there was some camaraderie during the summer and the spring and summer when these guys came in. He's going to have to do the same thing. And again, because it's not foreign to him and what he had to do at Ole Miss, again, I think he'll be able to do it at LSU and figure it out. Look, he's got a lot of talent on in terms of that portal coming in. The question is how quickly can he get it to mesh? And then the other part of it is when you talk about the quarterback position, how is that going to work out when your starting quarterback potentially is not going to be able to throw until the fall?
One thing about Summerall, and I'll start with him with that first, because what John Summerall was able to do in the few years that he was at Tulane was they didn't have this kind of turnover, okay? Even though he had a new quarterback each year, and obviously he lost his running back, and he had a lot of
last season he did have this kind of
a lot of the
turnover.
skill players were different, but he still, and look, he had one or two offensive linemen come back. He did have multiple players come back on his defense as well. So it wasn't an entire, Eric, this is going to be an entirely
it is.
different
There's
team.
no doubt.
I mean, an entirely different team. So Summerall was able to keep some continuity along the team, and I guess that's what worries. Again, there's nothing else Lane Kiffin could have done to be successful next year. So I'm not saying that they're.
Well, he has to be successful as well. That's the other part of it.
Right. There's a lot of pressure on him right away.
He's got to be in the college football playoff. Again, they did not bring him in here to get a mulligan year.
Oh, if they go 8-4 next year, the birds will be chirping.
So he knows with the hand he's been dealt here, and based on what he's done. Again, you have to give him, again, a fighter's chance to be able to get it done. Again, as I mentioned, Levitt not being able to practice
that's
early.
a problem. But look, that's why you go out and you get a guy like Longstreet who doesn't have enough playing experience. Is probably going to be the quarterback in 2027. I think everything I read and see says that Levitt will be okay. But again, you're going to be throwing him in there with not enough. how much time is he going to have? A month to practice?
Right.
Is he going to have 2 months to
reps,
practice? I don't know.
And then again to be able to get familiar with his receivers. I say watch Longstreet. Again, he is a prototype quarterback that Lane Kiffin likes to have in his offense. So give a strong look at him going forward.
Yeah, well, Lane Kiffin knows a little something about second-string quarterbacks being able to come in and
just a little bit
work for him.
All right, Tulane again coming off a college football playoff, finishing 18th in the final AP coaches poll. Again, losing to Ole Miss 41-10. Will Hall comes in, turnover in the roster, but again, not to the point that that was expected. 45 to 50 players stayed at Tulane, but they lost some very good football players. Again, as your point, again, with the guys that stayed at LSU, how many of those guys would have been, would have been able to come in and play immediately? That's one reason why we saw the turnover and said, hey guys, y'all might have to go to another school. At Tulane, they got 45 to 50 players that stayed. And by the rankings, it looks like they did pretty good in the portal. Your thoughts on Will Hall and what he has to do in his first year to be successful?
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Willie Fritz had a pretty good first year when he came over, but then the second year he was like a 2-win team or something along those lines. They didn't do very well. I'm worried that with this turnover, I just don't know how Tulane, when they went to John Sumrall, they obviously had players in place, and Sumrall was able to get a couple of key players to make that team really good.
Plus, he brought a lot of players from Troy, has helped him as well.
Exactly. I just don't see that with this group. Look, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't know. Tell me who's the alpha on this Tulane team that's going to stay or that's going to come. I think you're talking about a big step backwards. And again, I'm rooting for Will Hall because I think that offensive mind. He's a great offensive mind.
Yes,
Obviously, he's done a really good job. He's done a great job with the quarterbacks at Tulane. And I think
that's going to be the key, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, what is he going to get out of that quarterback room? And again, look, Samanza has stayed. Well, they went and got Chris from Houston.
Right.
That's going to be one of the keys for this team going forward. Obviously,
it's a concern though. I mean, you're talking about you're not going to get some of the players that they've been getting, in my opinion, and I just don't know that they're going to be in position to. Last show, look, we talked about. I said it on your show, and Garland and I talked about it a whole lot. That I think that one of the easiest bets in college football this past year going in was that Tulane was going to win more than 8.5 games, which was their over/under win total. You looked at what their schedule was and who they were playing and what they were bringing back, and they had Retzlaff coming in and all this. And I just thought that was, I didn't necessarily think they were going to go to the playoffs, but which they did. But I thought that was a team that. This team, I just don't have that same feeling about going in, and I just don't know that they have the talent that they're going to be able to win 9 or 10 games and be that kind of team again.
The good news is the American gets rated every year.
Yeah.
So
true.
Again, the other teams in the conference got rated as well.
They're at similar
so
spots.
they're in a situation where they had to turn their rosters over as well. So the question is how.
But you don't have John Sumrall, and again, nothing against Hall, but you don't have John Sumrall leading.
No, there's no doubt. And look again. Some would question,
as I
did, why you didn't go out and do a national search and why you went again.
Because they waited too long.
We didn't see continuity work with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Okay, can it work with Tulane?
I think they did it. I think they did continuity out of necessity. And I look again with a second chance. We've seen coaches with second chances more times than not. They do what they did the first time around.
Well, he didn't have the money at USM.
Again,
he's got the money at Tulane.
You're 100% right.
So again, he'll be judged on that.
I'm not saying he can't do it.
Right.
I'm just saying that the odds are against him. And you know me, I'm an odds guy.
Oh, I know you are.
And I just think that, look, I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope Tulane proves me wrong, because it's much better for all of us if Tulane's winning. Look at this year. I mean, if it wouldn't be for Tulane, we wouldn't have anything good to talk about. I mean, of course, the Saints started playing well towards the end of the season, but think about what it would have been like for us in September and October and even early November without Tulane around. It would have been just,
right.
So, look, I hope Tulane can do it again, and I hope they can take a step forward, keep taking their steps forward. But I need to see from this coach early on that that we're going to be able to be confident in what he's doing. And I think Tulane waited too long is your answer to your question.
Well, I think the one the key is going to be, as it always, the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Have they done enough there? I mean, they've been lucky in the last few years. They've been able to find a quarterback, even whether it's within their roster or going to bring in someone in that has come in and been able to be one of the better quarterbacks in the American. So that's going to be one of the keys for them. And then how quickly, again, can Hall get his – and look, 40 to 50 players that are staying that wanted to be there because Hall was getting the job, that goes a long way.
It does. That absolutely does. I mean, I didn't make a big enough point of that, but the fact that number is going to stay to work with that coach means that they all believe in him.
Yeah, there's a belief. So
and that goes to the chemistry aspect. A lot of times, teams that aren't as talented do better than teams that aren't as talented. I mean, and I'll use Indiana again.
Right.
As good as Indiana was, they went through some periods in the middle of the season where they were just okay, even though they went undefeated. You wouldn't have looked at Indiana, I think, in the middle of the season and said that team was going to win the national championship. And then kind of like LSU in 2019 where they just caught steam and went on. Look, chemistry, again, a belief in yourself. And so if those 40 to 50 kids believe in themselves and believe that they have the right coach, that's half the battle.
As long as, again, those are the 40, 50 kids that were talented enough to
well, that's
the other part of it. And we will find out. Again, we are hopeful for Tulane, as we always
a guy
are.
like Chaz Preston.
All right. They lost a lot. That's the point. When you look at the players, when you do the column and you look at the players they brought in and you look at the players that they lost, you're looking at the players they lost and you're going, wow.
Yeah.
But that's expected in the American. You are going to be the big boys are going to come in and they're going to pick you clean every single year.
I don't know that Memphis lost all those players, though.
Right.
I mean, if you look at
but a year ago they did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
And they were back in form.
Right. So let's shift gears to New Orleans Pelicans. I know this man doesn't want to talk Pelicans, but we're going to have to talk Pelicans.
Hold on. Let me prepare myself.
It is the trading deadline day today as we are recording this program. Again, the trading deadline is not eclipsed yet. We've got, about 30 minutes?
I'm trying to see if I'm assuming Will would have told us, but I don't.
Okay, we actually got about 4 minutes till the trading deadline is over in the NBA as we're recording this program. So the Pelicans have made one move so far. As expected, Jose Alvarado was traded to the New York Knicks for Dalen Terry, a guard, and 2 second-round picks. He had a player option for $4.5 million next year. He was going to opt out of the player option, and so the Pelicans needed to get something for him.
You forgot about the box of Cheez-Its. They also got that.
Yeah, they got that too. The question is, again, for a lot of people, why are they not blowing it up? Okay, well, 13-win team, 13-40. Number one, there was a report yesterday, Matt Moore, that said that the Pelicans do not, the two things. They're going to hold their core together because they believe with, again, a new coaching staff and developmental staff that they can get this team to a playoff with that core. There was also, as part of that same tweet, which again we all know, right, that the management, ownership of the New Orleans Pelicans and New Orleans Saints will not go into rebuilding mode. Especially for the Pelicans, they can't afford to rebuild because, again, the fan base is not that big for the Pelicans. They don't want to have empty seats in the Smoothie King Center, which is one of the reasons why they're trying to keep this core together and add to it. There are 2 contracts which they should have tried to get rid of. That is the pool contract, about a little bit over 35-36 million this year, expiring contract at the starting in the summer of 34 million, and then 2 years left on the deal for DeJounte Murray after this season. Again, and his agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, was trying to be able to maneuver a trade before the deadline. Whether that happens or not before our program ends is unknown. They didn't blow it up. It wasn't expected to blow it up. Your thoughts on again, should they have blown it up?
It's always hard to do that when you're talking about in season. They have pieces that they could. I mean, who wants to trade for Jordan Poole?
No one.
That's kind. I mean, so who wants to trade for a guy that's been completely fully injured and hasn't been able to play for a year and a half?
Murray's coming off an Achilles tendon injury. You have no idea if he can play anymore.
Correct. So
okay.
I mean, should they trade him? Yeah, that's great. I mean, people don't understand. They should trade. So yeah, I mean, they should.
Well, you got to take salary back in the NBA. Number one, the Pelicans are hard capped in the first apron. They got $3.6 million left under the cap. They're not going over. Okay.
I'm going to say this. Look, I'm probably in the minority, but they've been so poorly managed that I actually think there is. I still think there's talent on this team. Can anyone get Zion to just get off of his keister for a long period of time? I'm not talking about, he looks good for a month, because he has. He's looked good for a month now. Whoop-de-doo. Can they get somebody like that who every year they go into the year saying, this is the year that Zion's going to look good, and he's had, one good year out of his entire
27 games played
career?
this year in a row. So, again, that is a step in the right direction. In shape. But he's still, again, the problem with Zion is he doesn't do things in the offseason to get better. The great ones work on their deficiencies and get better. He has not done it in 7 years.
That's where the right coach could change that, okay? And look, not taking anything away from Willie. I am in the minority when I say I actually liked Willie. I just think maybe he wasn't quite ready for. I think one day Willie Green is going to be a good coach in the NBA. But I think what this team needs now is almost a hard ass. I mean, I think they need someone to come in here and just say, you're doing it this way.
Well, they had that with Van Gundy.
Yeah, but Van Gundy's different. Van Gundy you need someone who can do it and still relate to young players at the same time, and not someone who's older than me, okay? You can't have someone that's older than us and coach basketball today. Not in my opinion.
Right.
Not anymore.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Well,
so there's got to be some kind, and I don't know who that is.
Right.
I don't even know. I don't know who's going to be available. But they need a big change. They need a little.
Well, they should have done that at the beginning of the season.
I agree, and they didn't.
They didn't. And that was the first mistake that they made.
And look, even though I like Willie, and I'll agree with you, even though I like Willie and I said Willie should stay, here's the thing. If you were going to do this and do it this early in the season, then you should have just done it before the season. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to do it 9 games.
I've only got 2 minutes left, so I want to get to the nut of it, okay? Yeah. Do you trust Dumars and Weaver to get the job done based on what they've done so far? They blew the 2026 draft. They traded $40 million in expiring contracts for Jordan Poole. Thank goodness that Sadiq Bey has been a player that has played for them.
Who they've been talking about trading, by the way.
Right. Again, the ridiculous talk. So, do you trust them to get the job done? I mean, that's the bottom line here at this point.
I mean, how can you have any answer but no? I mean, how can you?
That's my answer.
How can you trust a group that? And I get that they're
0 for 3.
They've only been here for a little over a year or whatever it is. But no, how can you trust them? I mean, to me, as good as Derek Queen has been, the fact that they traded that unprotected pick to me is the biggest mistake that maybe this organization has ever made. And doesn't matter. It's not Derek Queen.
It's not Derek Queen's fault. He could be a superstar.
Exactly. But to trade that protected pick that could end up being the number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
In a draft that's the best since 2003.
Exactly. So
that was the LeBron James draft, by the way.
So no, I can't trust them to do the right thing. But going back to the blow up, I don't know. What are you going to blow up? How are you going to blow it up? I think you're better served to try to do that in the offseason than to try to do it now.
That's been my point all along. Those guys will still be here in June, okay? And the draft is in June. You can still make a deal then. There's no reason to make a deal now. And you don't want to make a bad deal now.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to make a bad deal. You've already made 3 bad deals.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make another bad deal that puts this.
But I'm still surprised, and as we sit here again, it could happen. I'm still surprised that at least one big name hasn't gone. I don't even know who if it's Sadiq Bey. Then have me on again next week, and we can just I can lose my mind.
He's got a $6 million contract next year. That's the guy you want to try to extend.
No kidding.
I mean, that makes no sense. But again, the problem is right now, Weaver and Dumars, since they got here, have made mistakes that have set this franchise back, and now again, you want to give them an opportunity to blow it up and start all over with draft picks. Thanks, but no thanks.
Well, they're going to be the ones that hire the next coach.
Right. Well, again, and we'll see how that works out as well. It's what happens when you don't do a nationwide, or in the case of the NBA, an international search for a person who's going to head your organization.
And I know we're going to go, but I think we can both agree, right, that James Borrego is not the answer, right?
Well, no, he's not. And again, if he was, they would be winning right now.
But they were talking about it.
No, there's no way Borrego could come back. And I like Borrego. There's no way he could come back. Again, new broom has to sweep clean. Jim Derry, thanks so much for joining us. Happy Mardi Gras, my friend.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be out there. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. There's a QR code on your screen right now that will take you to my website, ericasher.com, and the WLAE-TV YouTube channel where you can catch our program. And as I mention every week, Yes, we are truly blessed. We have multiple, again, networks you can catch the program on, WLAE-TV, WLAE-TV2, Pelican Sports Network. All you got to do is, again, set your DVR. You'll never miss the show. Again, that's the award-winning Inside New Orleans Sports each and every week right here on WLAE-TV. All right. I want to thank our underwriters. Well, first of all, catch me on the radio, 106.7 The Ticket, 4 to 6 weekdays. Listen live at ericasher.com. Also, again, we have an app, 106.7 The Ticket app. You can listen there. iHeartRadio app, TuneIn Radio app, other digital platforms to take the show with you anywhere and everywhere. I want to thank the underwriters who make our show possible each and every week. We appreciate those guys and those companies that, again, make the show possible. And we appreciate our folks here at WLAE-TV who produce our program. Ron Yeager, Jim Dotson, Alex Chacon, the best director on the planet, William Hill. For Jim Derry, I'm Eric Asher. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. And I know Jim doesn't want to hear this. We're talking all Pelicans next week on this show. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Thibodeau's